How good is your memory?
Right now it's pretty good.
Not very good.
Terrible.
I'm glad you're honest.
My mom's memory is excellent. I mean, I would rate my mom's memory better than mine, if it makes any sense.
No, I always forget where my keys are, so getting older is
I
not going to be great.
forget a lot of things.
Short-term memory's not quite so good.
I'd say it's all right. Yeah, pretty decent memory, I think. Yeah.
Some aspects not so good as others, but not too bad, really.
My memory is very good, but my husband's memory...
How can you keep your memory fit as you age?
There are many things you can do to boost your memory. One of the things we have heard from childhood days, that eat walnut.
Walnut.
要不断地重复，不断地学习。
So when you're gonna memory something, repeat as many times as you could, then you will remember.
Learning to dance is one of the best things that you can do for your memory.
They say that playing video games leads to a higher mental acuity in people my age, and so I'm hoping that that's going to see me through for a little while at least.
A lot of brain games, I guess.
I was going to say a lot of denial. That's
a lot of denial.
To never confront it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how are you coping with aging?
My eyes are so bad I can't send the grandchildren text messages.
I've started to write all my messages out in longhand, then taking a photo and texting that.
What does your aging journey look like? Welcome to the best 30 years, helping to make your aging journey the very best it can be. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, the first wealth is health. And in this episode of The Best 30 Years, we're looking at just that, your health and mind, and how these can enrich your independence and aging journey.
Lots of us avoid the fact that we are aging. Many look at it as the worst time of life, but it doesn't have to be that way.
In this series, we've already covered topics from legal and financial essentials to family feuds, land lease, retirement villages, and even passion. So in this episode, we're looking at your brain, health, and independent living. While the land lease and retirement village accommodation options we've mentioned in previous episodes are great, many people prefer to stay in their own homes with independent living, and home care can assist here. But independence is the key.
Independence is at the heart of what it means to be human, and it is essential in aging. It allows us to live in accordance with our values and wishes as we get older, and it can also protect us against things like exploitation or even abuse. I love the lines from William Ernest Henley's poem Invictus. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. And all of us want that as we age. So how do we maintain our independence? Prevent physical exercise, healthy brain aging, looking after our minds, and plan. Put those plans in place.
Independence is indeed precious. And while we can all aspire to total independence, many of us already live with varying degrees of it and have learned to plan accordingly.
When you have a disability like me, loss of independence is hard to avoid, whether it's an extreme level or whether it's just in small things. The good thing about that is that by the time everybody else is turning 75 and 80 and starting to complain about their loss of independence, a person who's had a disability for a long time, it's like, jump on board. This bus has been driving for quite some time.
Having a strong attitude is vital, but we also need to keep our body strong, as frailty makes us vulnerable, and that can begin a slippery slide to a loss of independence.
So it's really important to keep an eye out for frailty. Loss of energy, feeling weak, losing weight without meaning to. 1 in 2 older Australians have symptoms of pre-frailty or frailty. But the great thing is that we can do something about it. We can actually fight it. We can live positively and age positively by keeping physically active, eating well, keeping your mind active, and staying connected with friends. Having a conversation with someone is a great cognitive workout, so get with it and stay positive.
So if we're independent as we age and feel like we're capable of living independently, why would we need home care assistance?
A little bit of help at home certainly makes a difference. It can be the difference in gaining a little bit in your physical, your social, or your emotional well-being. At the very least, it can slow down a decline in health. What we're looking for is to give you more good days than bad days, so that you can continue to do the things that matter most to you. This might mean a bit of home nursing services. It may be some home assistance, such as showering or dressing assistance, or for household tasks. It may also be some allied health support. Physiotherapists, occupational therapists, and social workers can all make a difference.
This sounds great, but how is it possible? How do we access this help?
Our home is our sanctuary and we all want to stay at home to our last days, and that is increasingly possible. The government also wants you to stay in your home longer. The thinking is that you are not receiving care, you are receiving support.
As we age, little things can become big things. What wasn't a problem yesterday can be a major problem today. Fortunately, there are experts who can identify the risks and deliver solutions for you, whether the problem is an access issue or loneliness. Being able to stay in your own home is a huge relief for many. But like every stage of the ageing journey, this one also requires planning. Everyone has a different ageing story. Here are just a handful, fictionalised with names changed to protect privacy. Let's call this Joe's story.
After retiring, Joe relied on his wife for all social contact and purpose. When she died, he was alone and depressed and dragged his family down with him.
And Eva's story?
Eva relied on her husband for all things. When he passed, she was helpless with no idea of the details for banking and utilities. She didn't even know the password to the garage door.
And what's Farah's story?
Farah spent 15 years caring for her ageing mum. She became ill herself after her mum died. And with her children living overseas, she now has no one to care for her.
Fadi has a different story.
When Fadi's wife passed, he fell in love again and spent his final years blissfully happy.
And Sailor's story?
Sailor was born overseas and lost her grasp of English with dementia. Her daughter visits her every day in high care to feed her dinner and speak in their mother language.
And Sheila's story?
Sheila's mum wanted home care, but she couldn't deal with the process alone, so her daughter helped. They both thought it odd that she had to be independent to qualify, but needed help to apply to get it.
Actually, that's a common story. There is a process to apply for help in your home, but of course there is, because they need to be thorough for your benefit and the system.
The government financially provides a wide range of home support. The average payment to support you is around $30,000 a year. To make sure it's money well spent, the government requires a detailed care plan be designed for every individual, and for that care plan to be regularly updated and followed through your journey.
It's a great system, but processing can take perseverance. And that magical word, planning.
The home care program is provided by the government, and it's designed to support you to live independently in your own home for as long as possible. To obtain it, you need to contact My Aged Care by phone, online, or through your GP. They will organise a team to meet you at your home to do a comprehensive assessment of all your care needs. They will then provide you with a support and care plan and allocate you funding from $1,000 to around $60,000 a year. Then you choose a provider. Be aware, it can take time and paperwork, so you might like to have a friend or family member to assist you with this.
Yes, the process can be initially daunting, but it's also understandable.
Service providers need to provide regular data to the government on your progress. This places a big administration load on the provider, and that expense is claimed from the money you receive in your package.
For some, this process may sound overwhelming, but the rewards are rich in terms of maintaining your independent lifestyle.
I'm glad they were there because they uplifted me and they helped me. And after seeing other people around me who were a little bit stubborn about having assisted living. After a while, they did realise that they did need that extra help and someone to talk to and someone to make you laugh and just uplift you and then make you feel like you are valuable.
And how has home care helped others?
A couple of years ago, I had major surgery. Mate, they've been magic for me.
I have a very good OT lady. She comes out, she does railings for me, mats and even a bidet, and they give me a lot of support.
They also provide me with whatever care I need, living every day here, and also cleaning services, transport to the hospital if I need it. If I need to go shopping, they'll do that, but I haven't needed that yet.
Because I was in a wheelchair, it was very difficult to get out, so they would organise other people to come in to help me with the blood tests. And if they didn't have an answer to any question or anything I asked, they would find out.
We have nurses who visit us regularly on visits, and an occupational therapist also who comes out when we need it to advise us on what we can do with rails and things like that. And we've had some chairs put in and the emergency phone thing. So they're just some of the things that have made life much better for us here.
So home care can really change your life.
I'm like a little child coming out looking at, oh, I can do this now. Oh, I can do... And looking over, looking in the fridge and seeing what I can see, looking in the cupboard, it's crazy, but I've sort of got my life back.
Surprisingly, government-funded services are 80% non-medical, like cooking, cleaning, showering, even taking you to doctor appointments.
Home care, I think, is a lifesaver for a lot, and it'll probably let us live longer.
So home care and assistance help you maintain many aspects of your independence and create a perfect day. We all have a different idea of the perfect day. Here's Jamie's.
A perfect day could look like this. You wake up in the home that you love, give yourself a little bit of a stretch, and get ready and grounded for the day. You get dressed in something that makes you feel really good and comfortable, and you go down to the local cafe, have a cup of tea, have a chat with your friends, some neighbors down the street. Then you go home, have yourself a yummy lunch because you're about to meet your friends for a nice walk. You go on a different path today, have a new conversation, really creating those new neural pathways. After that, you might go and volunteer at the hospital, connecting to that really hardworking self that you've been your entire life and continue to bring that purpose and meaning into your day. Now, dinner. This time you might be creating your favorite meal. You go out to your garden and you pick the vegetables for that meal. At the end of the day, ready for just another perfect day tomorrow.
When Thalia's friend was diagnosed with dementia, she told Thalia she felt terrified and ashamed, like she'd failed. But now that the dementia has developed, she's kind of content. The lines between her dreams and reality seem blurred. Thalia asked her what she did today, and she said she went walking on the beach with her mum. Her mum died 30 years ago. Life is mysterious, and whether that really happened is not the point, because her friend thinks it did, and it makes her very happy.
Some people experiencing dementia can also receive home care.
There is much research happening all the time to help people with dementia remain living at home. Everyone's dementia journey is different, but what is good for the body is good for the brain. What is good for a person without dementia is good for a person with dementia, and that includes exercise. Physical activity is really important to reduce the risk of falls, to increase balance, and keep people moving about their homes and their communities. We're wanting to change the negative focus that exists at the time of dementia diagnosis, making sure people understand there is much that they can do. For families and loved ones, respecting and including the person with dementia in all decision making. Having a dementia diagnosis doesn't mean that you lose the ability to make decisions, nor do you want to be excluded or ignored. The brain might not be working quite so well as it was previously, but they are the same person inside and they have the same rights to good home care services.
It's not just dementia that can be confronting. All aspects of ageing can be. Fighting to maintain your independence can be confronting, and relying on help can affect our hearts and minds. So how can we deal with this?
It's difficult to be home alone and dependent on external services coming to your home, but it is pretty lonely. So I'd suggest a couple of things that can just get you to feel a little bit better in those times. And the first thing is simply waking up each morning thinking of something to feel grateful about. In fact, think of 10 things that you might want to be grateful about as you start the day, and that'll keep you going, I'm quite sure of that. The second thing is, if you're worried or have any negative thoughts that's continuing in your mind, take a moment just to write them down. Sometimes just by writing them on a piece of paper can just give you some distance from them and gives you a chance to look at some alternative and more balanced thoughts around that. The third thing, of course, is doing some very deep controlled breathing. And I really suggest that really helps you, especially in the moments of acute anxiety.
And if any part of the ageing journey becomes too much, talk to your GP or even a community service, perhaps Lifeline or Beyond Blue, because people are wanting to help you. Let's ask our specialists for their tips on the perfect day as we age.
My perfect day begins waking up from a great night's sleep. Without good sleep, we are just behind the eight ball. So I prioritise that. I prioritise my mental health and attitude, and I take time every day to meditate, even if it's only for a short period of time. I think about my own gut health. I eat lower carbohydrate foods. I have roughage and fibre and a varied source in my diet. I enjoy exercise and maintain a healthy weight. I think about saunering whenever I can, and I keep in close contact with my GP for regular tests, looking for any of the bumps in the road ahead.
In fact, gather as much information from specialists as you can, including dietitians.
Look, I think variety is key here. One of my favourite sayings is eat the rainbow. Try to include as many different foods and food groups in your diet as you can. I mean, the perfect example here is at breakfast. If you're going to sit down to a bowl of Wheat Bix or a bowl of porridge, think about what you can add to maximise the nutritional value of the meal. It might be something like a dollop of Greek yogurt on top, some banana, some berries, handful of nuts and seeds. You've elevated the dish. It's going to be more tasty and you're going to get more nutrients from it.
And what about our mental health?
There are small things that we can do to improve our health and happiness as we age. We can reduce stress by planning for the future. We can invest in our relationships by spending time with the people we love most. And we can remember that later life is a time for opportunity and growth. We know that we create brain cells until the very day we die. So try something new. Take that dance class, learn that language, pick up an instrument, go for it.
And Tim's ingredient for this perfect day?
It's important always to remain positive. Even though it makes no sense, it's better to remain positive. The way I do it is through practice, years of practicing being positive about things. So when something bad is happening, I always tell myself, well, it won't finish. This won't be the end of it. So say you get sacked, it's okay. You know, the window's closed, another window opens. Damn, this draft. So it's very important to practice it. Practice it on small things. Sometimes worth practicing during a football match. If you like a particular team, no matter if they're getting beaten, you can always say, oh, well, there's another game, there's another season, there's another year, there's another entire team. Nothing ever ends, so you might as well be positive.
And what about our residents? Do they have any extra tips?
Plan ahead.
Yeah, work hard, save as much as you can, and plan ahead.
And enjoy it on the way.
Yeah. Take time to smell the flowers. Yes, I feel we have.
Anything else?
Have your passion till the day you die.
For more information regarding the specialists, accommodation or subjects featured in this episode, please go to thebest30years.com.au.